Well, hello to everybody. Here it's Teresa Sanderson. Oh my gosh, very excited to connect with you today for another episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. And this week we have with us a very special guest and a friend of mine, Nicole Cromwell, who is a nurse and an artist. So, Nicole, I want to thank you for stopping in and sharing some time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so super excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, you have a very unique niche in what you're doing. So I just really think it's very important to, share your story with other nurses who may be looking at really outside the box opportunities as well. So for those of you who don't know Nicole, she is a nurse and an artist. As I said before, she's always been fascinated by the healing power of art. Her artwork is inspired by her experiences as a nurse and her desire to promote healing and wellness, both within and through artistic expression. Love that. Over her 25-year nursing career, Nicole has worked in the emergency department. She's been a flight nurse, a critical care response nurse, and now in the ICU. In 2015, she was inspired to start painting by a patient she cared for in the ICU, and with a lot of hard work has now transitioned to part-time nurse and full-time artist. This is just an amazing story, and I know we have a lot to talk about just based on that bio. But again, welcome, Nicole, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited.
Well, this is wonderful. So we know a little bit about your background as a nurse, the kind of things that you've done. Maybe tell us a little bit about, just a little summary of how you felt during those years working as a nurse, doing your flight nursing. What did you love most about those roles or enjoy most? And then we want to talk a little bit about that patient in the ICU who prompted you to go into painting. So tell us a little bit about your experiences.
I've always been in critical care. I started in oncology, and that was sort of my med surg entrance into nursing. And I knew that wasn't for me at the time. I knew I wanted to be a flight nurse. Of course,
Okay.
So many young nurses, I'm going to be a flight nurse and go straight to that. So,
Yeah.
but I knew I had a lot of work to do to get there. So I got a job in the emergency department, and then thought, okay, I've got to get into the ICU somewhere. So I applied at Stanford and got into the ICU there, and then worked about a year there, and actually got on the flight team. And I was blown away that it actually happened for me.
Wow.
And I loved it, but it was night shift, and it just destroyed my life. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of job, you need to be on your best, and I just couldn't working nights. So left back to the ICU, and then I knew I wanted to do a little more. So I got on the critical care response team, and I loved that. That was, that was great. We responded to every emergency in the hospital, all the strokes, all the major traumas. And then, I was a resource to so many younger nurses when they call rapid response, all of that. So I loved that. And then one day I was working in helping out in the ICU, and I got, it's hard to call it an assault, but I got punched in the face by a patient, and physically I was fine, but mentally there needed to be some sort of change. And so this happened right before COVID. I went to radiology for a year, and I hid out in the basement just as COVID hit.
Wow.
And, I had a lot of guilt there with, all of my colleagues fighting the fight, being involved in all of that. But anyway, I did that for a year, and then I just thought, what, I'm not done with my critical care. So I went back into the ICU, and that's where I am now.
Okay.
2 days a week, and it works for me.
Okay. Well, good. And so, that had to be a terrible experience to be punched in the face by a patient. And I know that especially since, the lockdown and everything that happened with COVID, so much more of that started happening, didn't it? And so sadly now it's just kind of a thing. And,
It is.
just have to be prepared for that. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like we've always just sort of accepted it as nurses, like part of the job. but it
Yeah.
really shouldn't be. And so,
No. No. Yeah, I agree. And there is a nurse leader that I'm connected with here in the virtual space, and she was a manager of a unit. And one year, I think it was Christmas Eve, but it was a family member who assaulted her in the patient's room. She ended up with a traumatic brain injury. Her vision was damaged. She still
oh,
doesn't have her normal vision back today. And it's so, I mean, how, how can, this is just one other thing, right? That nurses go through. I think the deck is so stacked, high patient ratios. We've got not enough staffing in
mm,
the early days of COVID, not enough supplies, all of this stuff. And then now we've got this aggression from, patients and families. It's tough.
yeah, and it sort of changed everything for me. Part of me is grateful because I stepped back and I thought, okay, what am I doing? Is this worth it? And it made me
Mm,
reevaluate everything. Uh,
mhm.
and I'm still, a little, I get a little nervous, a lot nervous when I'm in a room and
I
I can
bet.
see that this is a potential. But
Mm,
yeah,
mhm. Heightened awareness for sure.
right. And I
For
think
sure.
the hospitals are kind of getting on board with realizing that this is definitely a problem, but we have a long way to go.
Yeah, thank goodness they're getting on board. Tell me now, so I want to step back into the ICU to this patient that you worked with who
Yeah.
inspired you to start painting. How did
I
that come about?
I am grateful for her every day, and her family has allowed me to share her name. Her name was Amy,
Uh-huh.
and Amy was around my age. This was back in 2015. Uh,
Okay.
Amy was about my age, and she was battling cancer, and we all got to know her by way of her family because she was intubated the whole time we had her. And what I like to do with my patients is humanize them, help humanize them a little bit. So I asked her
Right.
family, tell me about Amy. And they said, oh, she's an artist, and this is what she's interested in. I'm like, this is her room. Bring her artwork in here.
Yeah.
We need to all know Amy for who she is. And it changed everything that day. Like, just people,
Wow.
they treat patients differently when they see, that this is not just the patient in the bed. This is a human
Mm-hmm.
that has a life. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, her walls were covered in her artwork, and it was so good to see. And so, unfortunately, Amy lost her battle with cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I was like, we just can't let this go because it had really affected a lot of her nurses. And so I
Mm-hmm.
organized a group of about 15 nurses, and we went and did this creative night where we made jewelry and we painted and did all kinds of crafts. And thought, oh gosh, that was so much fun. I need to do more of this.
Yeah.
And so I just started taking classes and like the paint and sip nights and
Uh-huh.
just
And those are so fun.
fine. Yeah. And I just thought, gosh, I love this, but I didn't want to paint what people were telling me to paint. I knew that I wanted to do something more. So then I started just taking workshops, and then that led to, local and then international workshops, and I was hooked. Um,
Wow.
and I didn't realize that whole time it was helping me sort of cope with this career that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize the healing effects that art could have.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how all the research I've been doing, it's got so many benefits for your health that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize. So yeah, then someone challenged me and they said, hey, there's a show coming up in this little community. You should enter your art. And I was like, I can do that. That's crazy. And I did it and it sold. And I
Oh
thought,
my gosh.
that's crazy. People are going to buy my work. And so then that just launched my whole side career.
Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that. And what a
Yeah.
beautiful way to honor Amy.
Yeah. I thank her
Oh.
every day because now I have, without her, then my life would have been completely different. But I
Mhm.
have an art studio in Carmel, and I'm in a gallery in Carmel, and this painting is was recently on the cover of the Journal of Critical Care. So I've had two covers of two of my paintings on the covers.
Wow.
It's been awesome, and now it's a side career for me.
Wow. I
I never painted
absolutely
before.
really.
Never, never.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Amy was intended for you, wasn't she? You've got to feel that. Yeah. Your paths were intended to cross. How beautiful is that? And I love that you're obviously able to do now something that you totally love
Mhm.
while also still doing the ICU care
Mhm.
that you also enjoy.
I do. I still love it. I love the
Yeah.
patient connections.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
an honor to be able to connect with these people and share their journey. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you so much there. Working in hospice, I always felt like it's such an honor to be invited in at such an intimate time, very vulnerable time. And I think, wow, that is just mirrored in the ICU experience, I'm sure. Both ends of the spectrum there. But the thing is, as I think about it right now, it's across the entire continuum. It is our honor to serve, right? It's our honor to go into that med surg room or in the ER or wherever we happen to be and just enter that patient experience and family experience. Love that. So tell me, so you had your success in the gallery and or at the show, and now you're featured in a gallery. You've probably was this anything that you ever expected?
Not at all. I just thought, when I started, I thought my friends are buying my art because they like me. I was 100% convinced. They're just being nice to me and they're just my friends. And so that's why they're doing this. And then, I think every artist probably remembers the first piece of art they sold to a stranger. And
Mhm.
that was, oh, wow, maybe I do have some talent here. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, it's
Wow.
been great. It's been such a completely life-changing
I
event.
love that. I love that. Yay, you. Yay, you. And so, what do you enjoy most about, having your own business and being able to, I see a big benefit that you kind of pick and choose when you're going to work in the ICU, but what do you enjoy most about the lifestyle you're leading now?
Okay, number one, my back doesn't hurt as much.
Truth.
Back. But I love the freedom of making my own schedule, and um, that's the biggest thing is my own schedule and being able to do things how I want to do them.
Mm, I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some things you just can't put a price on. You can't
Mhm.
put, dollar signs on things like just being able to say, I'm going to do this today, or no, I don't feel like doing
And I know I can't be a nurse forever. I know, like I can't do this job. It's been 25 years, and
that. Mhm.
it takes its toll on you mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And so now I have something else.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that I love that you're sharing that I just want to call attention to is the idea that you can create, any nurse can create a thriving business from home, doing something that you love that's going to grow an economy around you and your family. And I think that's just so important for them to understand. And you don't have to quit your job. Nurses are, we've got a pretty flexible environment if we just start to look at things differently. And so I want to plant that seed because this is a great example of that. You are a full-time artist and part-time nurse.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, being a nurse is part of my identity. And,
Mhm.
after doing it for so long, this is actually what I want to get into, I think, next is that's the beauty of nursing.
Yep.
What
Hmm.
there's over like 150 specialties of nursing that we can do. Like
Yes.
I want to do hospice now. I'm like, I I love hospice. I think
Hmm.
hospice and palliative care, that's my passion. And
Hmm.
so that's probably my next adventure. And
Wow.
I love that, that we do have the flexibility to shift and we
Hmm.
don't have to stay in where we are forever. Absolutely.
Right. Right. And don't believe anybody who tells you you do.
100%.
Right? Don't believe that.
Right. We're flexible, we're creative, we can change. We can do hard things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is such a mouthful, because I think if anybody is so suited to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's nurses who are used to doing so much with so little. We are problem solvers. We have initiative. We know how to, triage. All of those skills are transferable into business. Even the nursing process. I mean, I use the nursing process to plan every course I teach. So many things in my business are run by the nursing process. And it's just incredible. Yeah.
Right. And then there's also that trust factor that, you're a nurse, you're golden. People, everyone
Yeah.
trusts the nurse. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you're right. We're completely set up to be entrepreneurs.
I love that. I love that. So, right now, Nicole, you are actually one of my continuing education clients. We're working on your nursing CE application. So I'm super excited about that. But I would love for you to share with our viewers today how you plan on using your nursing continuing education provider program.
I am so excited about this. So I know how much nursing or being an artist has helped me, and creating has helped me. So I want to share that with my colleagues. And so I thought in the beginning, wow, I should really figure out how to be able to provide nursing credits for this, because it's, for stress relief. And oh my gosh, doing the research was crazy. I thought there is no way possible going through I don't know who's the governing body of all of the
ANCC, probably.
I must have read that website 20 times and still could not figure it out. And I'm smart.
Yep.
So I was like, I need help, clearly. And so then tried to do more research, and there's just not much out there. And then I found you. I found you on Facebook, and I was like, oh, this is my answer.
Yay.
So yeah, I plan on offering continuing education credits for my course. And you've been amazingly helpful.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. No, I just am so excited. And I think you have a classic example of what nursing CE can and should be for nurses today. I think all too often we get all wrapped up in it needs to be clinical, it needs to be all patient or facility oriented. But no, nurses, we need to fill our own cup. And nursing CE is your opportunity to learn what you want to learn when you want to learn it. Yeah. So I love that now we've got an artist in here. And I just remember, when you sent me an email and you said, I'm an artist, I do this, I'm not sure if this will work for CE. And then, we figured out that of course it does. And then you sent me a follow-up email that said, I'm Nicole, I'm the artist. I don't know if you remember me. Well, you're the only artist I've ever worked with. But I just love that. But this is very exciting. And, I've worked with another gal who's a financial investor. She's a nurse, but she retired herself at age 35. And now she teaches other nurses how to do the same thing. And it's all CE credit courses. I mean, this is important stuff for nurses.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love what you're doing, and I cannot wait. We're soon to finish up your application and get that in for you. And then you will be all set. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to share the self-care part. Plus, maybe someone can start a new hobby or side hustle. Who knows?
Exactly. Exactly. And before we go on, this wasn't on our list of questions for today, but I would just ask you, can you share a couple of the meaningful benefits of art for healing or for wellness?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing all of this research for the course, but there's so many studies coming out about and that have been out there, but it increases your dopamine levels, and your cortisol levels go down when you practice art. And it's not about creating like a masterpiece necessarily. It's just that the act of doing it, you go into this mindful place where, I can have the worst day possible in the ICU and then just go into my art studio and create and just go into this zone and dance and paint and get the paint all over my hands. And
Mm,
just come out of there just feeling completely renewed.
wow.
Yeah, and it helps with your fine motor skills and your problem solving skills. There's so many benefits that I didn't even realize
Wow.
happening when I
Wow.
was doing it. But
Right.
it's changed everything.
Wow. Well, that is so exciting. And I just love that it's a unique and creative way for nurses to take care of themselves. You're actually even going to have a physical thing at the end of it, a tangible product or something that you've produced and created. And again, if it's not beautiful, I mean, it doesn't matter. I totally get that. It's still something you created. And I think that in itself is awesome.
Right. I mean, I think everybody can be an artist. I truly do.
Love
It's
that.
just the act of creating. There's so many different, just like there's so many different ways to be a nurse, there's so many different ways to be an artist. And there's so many different things to create. And when I've been gathering all the research, there's a million different things you can paint, and it's just mind blowing. I get all excited about
Well,
it, and
I love it. Yeah. Nurses need to be exposed to it. So this is very, very exciting. All right. So I'm going to shift gears now and I'm going to ask you, Nicole, to share with our viewers the one piece of advice that you would give to every aspiring nurse entrepreneur, for that nurse who's working at the bedside or in a role and feeling like, I would love to have more for my life. I would love to have some flexibility. I'm burnout. I don't know how long I can continue. I wish I could do something else, but I don't know how. What piece of advice would you share?
I think um I think you just need to believe in yourself. You didn't get to be a nurse from not doing hard work, and we have so much potential, each one of us. I truly, truly believe that. You're a nurse, you're adaptable, you're a creative thinker, but you just need to sort of change your perspective and sort of harness that energy and think outside the box and figure out what you're passionate about and share it with the world. Because
Mm,
I really think we have the potential with all, the nurse influencers out there. There's so many other, there's so many things we can do with this career we've embarked on.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And that, yeah, because it's got to start in here.
Mhm.
Got to start in here. Oh, I love that. I love it. So, Nicole, again, this has just been a wonderful opportunity to chat with you and learn more about all the things that you do. And what I'd like to do now is give you the next few minutes to just talk with our audience about the offerings you have and also how can they connect with you. Anybody who's interested in learning more about what you do, how do they reach out to you?
So my website is NicoleCromwellArt.com, and then I'm on Instagram as well, LinkedIn, all the usual channels, but not TikTok because I just can't. Maybe someday, I just can't.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
but yeah, no, I'm putting together this the Brave Beginner Art course. It's about three-quarters finished, and we'll be offering CE credits for it. Um,
Yay.
and it's how to survive and thrive through creativity. And it's a very beginner art course, but I will show you supplies and how to use all of them and what they all are for, and color mixing, and there's already several videos on how to create artwork that is it's super easy, and I know you can do it because I'll show you.
Yeah.
And like there's all the health benefits, and the CE credits will be all around burnout prevention and how to manage it. But it's going to be a great course, and
I
there's a wait list, but that's on my website. You can sign up for that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this sounds amazing. So the Brave Beginner Art Course is what's coming up, and there's a wait list. Be sure to check out Nicole NicoleCromwellArt.com so that you can check out what she has going on and learn about that course. I think that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to share it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this concludes our episode today of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Nicole, I want to thank you again just for being my guest today, for sharing your gifts and talents with our group, and just being the great gal that you are. So thank you again.
Thank you, Teresa. And thank you for all the support you give and all the different projects you're working on. You're making such a huge difference, and we need it.
Oh, I so appreciate those kind words. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And to all of our viewers, we're just going to say goodbye for now. We will see you on the next episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Bye-bye.